I noticed that right here, this is my bowling pin. I got this pin in my high game when I was in grade school, and there was a bowling league that I participated in after school. It was every Tuesday after school we played 2 games, and I remember that I would, I'm not sure if I know who was on my team. I think I played for a couple of years, maybe 2 years. The league was there, and I enjoyed it. I liked bowling at the time. That was I almost said sport, but I caught myself. That was the original pickleball. Right? Pickleball is all the rage now. I used to like bowling, and millions of people bowl. In my childhood, there were certain things that were very popular. Bowling was popular, and a different thing that was popular was horse racing. I live near Aqueduct Racetrack, and there were millions of people that would watch horse racing. I've only ever done it a few times in my life, the Belmont Stakes and maybe the Triple Crown, but horse racing is a competitive thing. Bowling is competitive. Now, the newest endeavor, pickleball. I played pickleball for the first time 2 weeks ago. And I liked it. I liked it a lot. As a kid, I played handball. As a kid, I played racquetball. College, into law school, I played racquetball, right? So pickleball is just the next generation. I have a 72-year-old client that was extolling the virtues of pickleball. She came into my office with a baseball cap and athletic gear, and she looked fit. And I said, "Oh wow, you look like you're either coming from someplace or going someplace." That was the energy she was giving. She said, "Yes, I'm going to pickleball. I love it. I recommend you do. Keep your mind and body physically active. Stave off disease, Alzheimer's, dementia. Eat right, be healthy, and get your will, trust, and advanced directives. Protect yourself from all fronts." That's what you should do. What assets pass through a will and what does not? Let's start with premise number one. You need to have a will to be part of this discussion. A will takes what you have during your life and passes it to your next of kin, to the people you specify, to your beneficiaries, to your church, synagogue, mosque, to the people you mention in the will. What passes through a will? Any item that you mentioned that is owned in a certain way. So if I have a life insurance policy and I say on my passing, I want that policy to go to my wife. But in my will, I say, I want the proceeds of my insurance policy to go to charity. Well, it will never go to charity because under the terms of the life insurance policy, it's going to go to the beneficiary designation. So what will pass through the will? If I own a property, a piece of real property, a house in my name individually, that will pass through my will. Even if I don't mention it, even if I say everything I own will go to my wife or everything that I own will go to my 3 children. Well, the executor will have to marshal everything that I own, banks, stocks, bonds, brokerage accounts, gold, silver, cryptocurrency, and real property. Gather it up, and in the example of giving everything to my 3 children, figuring it all out, collecting it, and then distributing it in 3. So real property will pass through my will if it was in my individual name. Also, if I was a tenant in common, if I owned a piece of property with my brother, I owned a piece of property with my friend as a tenant in common. That's an ownership classification. My share of the property will pass through my estate. The other person's portion of the property will pass through their estate. So individually owned assets, individually owned real property, and property owned in tenants in common will pass through the will. Joint assets, a joint bank account, a jointly owned property will not pass through the will because by operation of law, upon my passing, that joint asset goes to the other joint owner automatically, immediately, instantaneously by operation of law. What doesn't pass? Asset classes with a beneficiary designation. So a life insurance policy with a beneficiary designation, no. A bank account in trust for payable on death does not go through a will. Jointly owned asset classes, brokerage accounts, or bank accounts does not go through the will. A life insurance policy that I specifically reference my estate as the beneficiary, then it does pass through the will. If I die and I say that the proceeds of this life insurance policy should go to my estate, that will pass through a will. Simple and complicated. We take an asset and we look at the history of it. We look at the ownership of it. We look at how does that interplay with the laws of the Surrogates Court, SCPA, Surrogates Court Procedures Act, and how it goes with the laws of that particular thing. Like the laws of that thing, that's legal and official. So if you have a beneficiary designation, no good. And if you have joint, no, individually owned items, right? That's the takeaway. If you need help and I need your help and you need my help, reach out. FrankBrunoLaw.com.